Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this presentation, which is about managed code rootkits. My name is Erez Metula. I'm the founder of AppSec, an application security dedicated company based in Israel. And what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about application-level rootkit attacks on managed code environments, which is something which is kind of scary. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to start with an overview of application-level runtimes, application-level virtual machines. We're going to see what is an MCR, a managed code rootkit, that hides itself inside the managed code environment. We're going to see how managed code rootkits changes the definition of a programming language. Think about it. Changing the definition of a programming language means that code that the developer writes actually does something else than what it was intended to do. And we're going to have a couple of case studies of virtual machines environments. We're going to see an examples of .NET. We're going to see an example of Java JVM. And we're going to see an example of the Android Dalvik virtual machine. So that just to demonstrate that the concept is relevant to all of the application level runtimes. And we're going to see some very interesting attack vectors and examples. And we'll also see the tool that I've developed called Reframeworker that allows you to change the runtime on which the application runs. We're going to see a couple of examples of how useful it can be. A little bit of a background. So I started working, started thinking about the idea of changing the runtime, changing application level virtual machines back in late 2008. I wrote a white paper called .NET Framework Rootkits. When I first presented this paper, people thought that there was some problem with Microsoft.NET, with the .NET framework. People started bashing Microsoft about these kind of things. So I decided to show that this concept is relevant to other platforms as well. So I extended this concept, and I extended it to other languages that I talked about before. And I presented this material in Black Hat and in CancerQuest and in RSA OSP and all kind of other places. But for me, it was very important that each time that I present this idea, I change it and I add it a little bit more. So if you had a chance to see this presentation, something else, be sure that you will see here today some new stuff. A book about this subject is coming soon. I'm publishing with Singers the book called Managed Code Rootkits. It's about to be out in about 2 months from now. And it covers what we're going to see today, which is very dense. Today we're going to see just 1 hour of this subject. So if you want to have more information about it, be sure to look for it. So managed code rootkits, those are the kind of runtimes in which the code runs under the management of an application level virtual machine. We're talking about environments in which the code that is inside the executable does not contain machine-level instructions, such as those in languages such as C and C++, in which the source code is compiled to the machine-specific instructions. But we're talking about languages in which the code is compiled to an intermediate language bytecodes, so that when we have this kind of executable, it runs inside the virtual machine. On the right side, we can see this virtual machine. So we can see that on the bottom, we see the hardware level, operating system level, and we have basically two kinds of executables. On the left side, we see the unmanaged code executables, such as C, C++, and stuff like that. And on the right side, we see that the managed code executable runs on top of the virtual machine. By the way, do not confuse with OS level virtual machines, such as VMware, and such as virtual PC, right? So we're talking about application level virtual machines. Well, the idea of the virtual machine allows us to write the executable once and run it everywhere. The application virtual machine performs the translation for the machine-specific instruction set at runtime. When we're talking about application level virtual machine executor model, we have the source code, which is compiled to the bytecode, to the intermediate language, which is a kind of abstract level assembly code it's very similar to assembly code that you are familiar with, but it has the notation of objects, of inheritance, basically everything that relates to higher level code. And when the code is loaded inside the virtual machine, it is first loaded by the loader. The loader takes from the runtime some kind of information, such as those contained in the libraries, which can be a DLL in case of .NET, a jar in case of Java, even in Dalvik, and basically every language has its own runtime classes. And in runtime, a mechanism called the JIT, just-in-time compiler, converts one line of virtual code to machine-specific code. It can be a couple of lines, so that we have an engine that always gets inside a virtual machine language and puts out some kind of assembly instructions specific to this environment. So when we're talking about managed code rootkits, we're talking about changing the internal definition of the runtime itself, so that we can actually change the language instructions, we can change the language methods. By the way, method in object-oriented language is what you all used to call the function, right? So we're changing the methods, we're changing default values, event handlers, so we're actually changing the runtime itself, and this allows us to change the flow of the execution, of the executable, sorry. So we're basically creating an alternate reality for applications. So application thinks that they're executing something, but they're basically executing something completely else. So we are kind of changing the matrix in which the application is deployed on. And the interesting thing about an MCR is that due to the fact that it runs from within the virtual machine, it actually has a root-like access to the runtime itself. It has access to private methods. It has access to operations that are not allowed by the application. So it basically changed the whole idea of managed execution. So if we take an example of how it can be done, well, it can be done in a couple of ways. It can be done by changing the libraries. It can be done by hooking into the JIT. It can be done by maybe hooking into some other mechanisms. But for the purpose of demonstration, we'll do that by changing the runtime libraries. So if we have the three layers, we have the application layer on the top, we have the virtual machine layer at the middle, and the operating system at the bottom. When there is some kind of code that calls a runtime level method, which is kind of compared to system call at the operating system, well, the runtime contains its own implementation of the code. What we're going to do is we're going to take this function, throw it away, so we have our own implementation, so that when the code calls this kind of method, it will do something completely different. And of course, when the call will come, the system will be hacked, right? So let's start with a simple demonstration. In this demonstration, we're going to change the Java language. This will be the basic of Java rootkits. So our next demonstration will be that, we're going to take the method that prints string, the print line string, right? We're going to take the hello world executable. So we're going to see how if we take the print line method and double its own implementation, we'll have the same string printed twice. So this will be just a proof of concept of language modification, but it will allow us to do something more advanced later on. So first thing that I'm going to do, well, I'm going to take and I'm going to hook into the Java rt.jar. rt.jar is the Java runtime classes. So basically a jar file, as you probably know, is basically a zip file, right? So if I take this the jar file, it is actually deployed inside the Java runtime. So if you go to the runtime, you will find it there. So I'm just changing it to zip, so I'll be able to get inside. So this is basically just a zip. And I'm going to the class that implements the file I.O. File I.O. is being in Java I.O. And over here, I have it a file and I have it a buffer. So I'm going to take the file outside. And after I've copied it outside, I have here now the class itself. But the class itself doesn't contain anything meaningful. It contains the Java bytecode. What I want to do is I want to disassemble it. So, by the way, guys, we have a small class, so feel free to raise your hand and ask questions. This is what's so great about Boston Conference, right? Source Conference. So, Is everything okay up until now? Great. So the